That looks nice. All right, so here we go. We've got our tier list. We're only gonna be ranking these 8 at the top here. I literally can't read what this one is. I think it's. Oh wait, that's Ocarina of Time. Yeah. Not 8, I guess. This group here before this one, which is one game that I did not add to the list of games that we'd be playing because it's never been translated and it is so unbelievably confusing what it is that I just refused. I just said, nah. I'm not even going to try to play like a Japanese version of it because holy shit. So, yeah. Let's start off then. In fact, let's go ahead and add a row below. We will call it wrap. Oh, nice. It's also impossible to read. There we go. Or rather, let's just call it instead. Can't play. There we go. Alright, so the original NES Zelda. 'Tis a very old Zelda, being that it's the first, and yet it still holds up. Like, I have played the original Zelda numerous times, specifically with randomizers, because it's pretty predictable once you figure things out. Playing without a walkthrough is a bit challenging because the game does not give you enough hints of where hidden walls are and shit like that. Modern day guy playing the original Zelda would be a bit annoyed if they didn't have a walkthrough with them, so I can understand that lowering it a bit. But the fact that it's this old and it still holds up as a Zelda game, that it has progression from having nothing to becoming powerfuler and powerfuler, and I think it just did a really good job of setting the stage of what Zelda really is. It's an adventure of you exploring a world and gaining items to get stronger and maneuver around that world even more. It's about saving Princess Zelda. And honestly, I think it's a really good game. I genuinely think that it's A tier. It's not perfect. The game is dated still. Like, you can still feel like it's stunted in a way that you don't have as much freedom as you think you would. And again, with the whole not knowing where to go at times, because if you don't have a walkthrough, you have no idea where you're going. And the final boss dungeon against Ganon, it's pretty unbelievably large and a bit confusing. But I can still see myself opening up a randomizer, randomizing it, playing it, and genuinely having a decent time. So yeah, A tier is definitely good. Legend of Zelda Link 2. So this is the Legend of... Oh, this is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I was surprised at what I did enjoy from the game, but it can't go very high, can it? I had to play through that game with save states, because it is unbearably difficult. And not good difficulty. It's awkward controls, awkward fighting, just genuinely a pain. I thought the fight against Dark Link was fun and interesting, but it was also challenging to all hell, and I had to use an exploit in order to beat him. Like, Jesus Christ. I said like again. Okay. Navigating the world, all of the navigation and stuff, they did try to expand the world, but making it a 2D scroller when you go into fights and random fights and also having a leveling system, I don't think any of that really worked well. I can tell that they experimented. They tried to do things that other games were doing at the time, but sadly, I just can't see myself ever wanting to play the game again unless I really just had this weird desire to go through it again as a randomize. And even then, there's not enough spells and items for the randomizer to be all that interesting, I think. It would be definitely confusing, but interesting. It surprised me by being not terrible, but I can't say it was super fun either. It's either D or C. I suppose the answer is, would I ever really play this again unironically and try to have a good time without save states? No. I just can't. It's harsh. And if there are worse games here, I would consider ranking it up. But for the time being, it's the Zelda game that I just would not go back to. Alright. Link to the Past. Pretty good. It's old Zelda. And it definitely was a complete evolution of the original Zelda. It got rid of the whole leveling system. It got rid of all of the stuff that it tried to do with Adventure of Link, but it instead really focused on building a much more vibrant, designed world that you very much just do the very similar thing you did in the original NES one, which is you travel around it, get items, upgrade, make your way to, or like make get better ways of getting around, or make new openings. That's what I'm saying. Make new entrances to certain places that you never had before. It's a good one. It's a really, really, really good one. I randomized it because I played it before. I don't think I played it as much. Admittedly, sometimes the characters could be a little bit lacking in substance for me. It just kind of felt like you were going from one fight to the next, like the original Zelda. And I didn't really care about many of the NPCs or even Zelda for all that much. But it definitely is a great Zelda. I'm finding it hard to put it any lower. It's either A or S. And I'm thinking about whether it should go in S or not. Because this is a personal tier list. Remember that. This is a personal tier list. And I'm trying to be objective and not let my personal bias push it down. Because admittedly, I don't think I'd go back to it all too often. And I'm not sure why. Maybe I feel like the game would be a bit too confusing to go back to. But then again, that's kind of a stupid reason to put it down. I think, personally, I think it would have to go in S tier, because I'm unironically finding it hard to think of anything that I truly disliked about it. I guess maybe the Dark World could be a bit confusing, and yeah, the NPCs are a bit like wooden. I didn't really care about them at all. But the adventure was nice. The upgrades, the bosses, everything was pretty good. Yeah, I can't fault it. No matter how hard I'm trying to find a reason to fault it. Because, I don't know. I just personally, I'm thinking it's gonna be a low S for me. Because maybe I just feel more for 3D Zelda games in a weird way. Anyway, now we got the CDI games. CDI Link, the Faces of Evil, and Zelda's Wand of Gamelon. This is an awkward one, because I streamed these two games, but I didn't play the original CDI games. That's because CDI is a fucking clunky system, and any emulators that have been made for them are not great at all. Worse that they're just don't seem like they're going to be fun to play. The controls are awkward and confused. The remakes that I played, they were really good. Really good upgrades. They still had jankiness. I remember getting pissed off at times because the game did not make certain things clear, like what is climb-upable, what actually can be used in certain aspects, what was entrances and what wasn't. It was not good in that aspect. And if I am ranking it from its original design, it would be in can't play, because I don't think they're playable when in the original sense. The remakes make them playable, and from what I played, I genuinely had a decent time. So they would probably land in C tier, but it's difficult to say that, because yeah, the original version is shit. But the remakes are great, but they're not official remakes. So it's really hard, because what they could have been were so good. Or not so good, but good. Ultimately, they are remembered for a reason. The CDI cutscenes are golden. They are funny. These games are funny, and Zelda's not really great at being funny outside, because a lot of the time they're very serious, I think. These two are really funny, and I had problems with them. I'm gonna put them in C tier, both of them, and Link's higher because I had more fun with that one. But yeah, that is definitely personal opinion. They probably shouldn't go higher than Link Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. But I sadly just can't put it down. Maybe if I did force myself to play the original, I'd have a much stronger negative opinion of them. But whatever. Adventure, no, that's not Adventure, that's Link's Awakening. I played the remake. The original, I'm guessing, isn't gonna be that different. So I'm gonna just judge it off what I played, right? I'm gonna really not even really care about all of the extra stuff they added, like Dampy's Dungeon Maker and stuff like that. None of that matters to me at all. Like, I probably just enjoy the original game just as much as this game, right? And I liked it. I thought it was interesting that the entire story was based in a dream, in a way. The entire thing was just a fake world trapping Link inside a dark world that was allowing him anywhere else, right? Just moaned. What the hell, Marco? Whatever. I enjoyed it. It was definitely the most regular Zelda game, I guess. It follows the Zelda formula, that's what I mean to say. In that you go to dungeons, unlock things, get better, unlock new areas that you can now traverse because you got upgrades and stuff like that. A Deku merchant in the Lost Woods sold me a Great Fairy Sword for 40 rupees. Oh, good for you. That works out, but I don't think the Great Fairy Sword gets you anything in that game, right? It's just an upgrade to your attack. But yeah, where does Link's Awakening go? Could it be an S tier? Because it's definitely going up in the top. Because I can't see fault with it all too much. I guess it can be a little unintuitive on how you can, what you can and can't do. And I did play the remake, so I can't say for sure if the original was as even more unintuitive, but I think it's a good one. I liked it. I had a fun time. I think it's an S tier experience. I think anybody who plays Zelda would have a good time playing Link's Awakening. Admittedly, it's going to be the remake, because that's the one I played, but yeah. That's my opinion. Zelda's Adventure. Let's just go ahead and say I couldn't play this. I couldn't find any way of playing it. It's another CDI game, but there's no remake of it, except the one that I did find, which didn't work. I kept crashing. That stream was just unbearably bad in every shape or form, and I don't blame the person who made it, the remake, because that's an entire game, right, to remake. The original... Everything I've seen about the original is that it's grindy, unintuitive, not fun, not really even a Zelda game. So, if it was ranked, it would most likely get an even lower tier of F. In fact, I'm gonna add another row below of F tier just so we can be clear that Link to it, The Adventure of Link isn't a bad game. Let's just go F tier. Let's make it... I wish there was a brown or something. Yeah, well, you know, that works. But yeah, I have very little high points of Zelda's Adventure. Like, it doesn't even have the cutscenes, the enjoyable cutscenes that could be used in YouTube poops and stuff like that. There's just no longevity to it. I don't think there's many people even who know that that game even exists. It's just unfortunate, really, because it's another Zelda game, like a game that you play Zelda in, but it just doesn't feel like it is good in any way. So sadly, yeah. If it was to be ranked, it would be an F tier at the very bottom. Shame, but yeah, there it is. Alright, so this is Ocarina of Time. I probably might make my own tier list that has its own pictures on it to make it easier to tell what is what. Since the weird thing about the Zelda titles is that the actual title of the game is super small compared to the Zelda title, right? But yeah, Ocarina of Time. It's still regarded as one of my favorites. It's a 3D Zelda. It's linear to a certain extent. You can still explore with your upgrades that you get, but you can ultimately... It also points you in a good direction all the time. Make sure that you've always got a hint system if you ever need to know what you need to do. I feel like everything is properly coordinated and explained while also giving you enough ample room for experimentation. I love the fact that you go through the game as a kid and then the game restarts itself as an adult and you get to see all the characters again, but in an adult form, with things have changed and things have gotten bleaker, and yet you still keep going. I love that. I really like Ocarina of Time. It's one of my favorites. And that's why it's an S. Because it's kind of an experience that you could never really have again after playing it for the first time. It's the question, though, comes up. Is it better or worse than Majora's Mask? That is something that's been on my mind through this entire playthrough of Majora's Mask. Is it better or not than Ocarina of Time? Because surprisingly, I was tilting over and over again between it's better, it's worse, it's better, it's worse. Ocarina of Time is actually the game that got me into Zelda. Same, I think. I'm pretty sure it was the first Zelda I played too. Embraced it on the 3DS. I want to 100% the Zelda games like Breath of the Wild, SS, and more, but I don't have no interest in the CDI ones. That's fair. But yeah, Majora's Mask is unique in a way that it has a lot of depth in its characters, in its story, but it also latches itself onto a system that can be both thrilling and also a curse. The time system. It's the main reason why I skipped Majora's Mask for a lot of my life. And this is the first time I've gotten through to the very end of it. Because I hate being on a timer. Especially when I'm forced to solve puzzles and do things for the first time. It irritates my brain, and it's even worse when I'm streaming. Having to constantly keep in mind that there's a ticking clock on you when you're doing things that can be quite challenging and force you to restart things over and over. What's more, it can feel a bit saddening to see that everything you've done in a day, like saving someone's life, changing, like doing their quest and making them happy, you flick the switch and suddenly they're miserable again, and you can do it all again, but you don't get anything from it. It just feels, for me personally, when I first played it, I didn't like the feeling that my progress was being reverted. Even though I technically kept that progress, I got the item from them. But it made me feel like a dick, in a way. Like, just, I saved them to get an item and then left them to their fate afterwards. And granted, that's kind of what you're supposed to, that's what you have to do in order to save everyone. But it was always the thing that kind of gnawed at me when I first played. It wasn't that bad this time around, since I just wanted to keep moving on and getting everything. And I liked experiencing all of the stories. The whole bomber journal and having every character have some kind of personal problem that you can solve was nice. It brought a lot of character to the story. It made you care about the NPCs, some of them. Others are just kind of like whatever, they just give you like a story about themselves and just give you the reward. Majora's Mask had a lot more darker story with unique quests. And the mechanic of the masks having unique purposes. Also a very good idea, which modern games did that even if it was different items. I do agree with that. It was definitely, it's always been regarded that Majora's Mask was the edgier version of Ocarina of Time. And it's true. Ocarina of Time really only had 2 dungeons that were considered dark, which was the bottom of the well and the Shadow Temple. And they did get dark at times, but like Majora's Mask was much more darker, and then it felt like it constantly wrestled with grim ideas of just a lot of things, really. Every mask kind of felt like it was different from one another. The only thing I could also show as a bit of an unfortunate part is that I would not have figured out most of that. I would have most likely had to have a walkthrough to figure out all of the quests. Maybe given enough time, I would be able to reason out eventually what I'd have to do. But there was a lot of times where I just felt like the game leaves way too much of an open-ended way of you moving forward. Like Cafe's quest, for example. It's a great quest. It feels rewarding, but it's very specific in what you need to do. You have to talk to Anju after the postman's come. Fair enough. You have to have the mask on at that specific time. Any other time, she won't bother to talk to you because apparently after the note is passed, she gives a shit. You have to meet her. That's fine. You get the time. It makes sense. Then you have to go and watch the mailman deliver a note to Cafe, and the whole time it just felt like the game was kind of laughing at you, like, oh, you didn't know this guy who looks like the mask is the guy you're looking for? You want to talk to him? Too bad you can't talk to him. You want to go into his house? Too bad you can't go into his house. You can ring the bell, but that's a red herring because you never have to do that in order to get what you need. Also, hey, Dark Kiwi, we're talking about Zelda games. I'm trying to like get everything from my head down onto a tier list so I don't forget everything that I've played for later, because I don't want to be like, oh, did I enjoy this? I can't remember. Because we just completed Majora's Mask, basically. But yeah, that's what I meant by I was teetering constantly on whether or not this was better or worse than Ocarina of Time. Because it is more intricate. It does offer a lot more variety, and you do have a lot more ways of... a lot more quests, a lot more rewards, and it does feel, in itself, a more rewarding adventure. But at the same time, that adventure is paired with a time system and constant niggling details of specific things you need to do that can be so obtuse and awkward and difficult to really realize that it just makes it difficult. I catch it, quickly glance at chat. About Zelda, I know nothing and into other games. That's fair. This is all about the Zelda marathon, basically, and I'm only really like trying to get everything on paper now so I don't forget. And it's completely fine that you don't really know about the Zelda games, because I only know a certain amount myself, and we're going into some more Zelda games that I've never played before after this, eventually. Not after we've done this tier list. But yeah, so Majora's Mask, it's definitely an S tier game. I can see people saying that it's so good that it deserves to be up. But were the problems enough for me to put it down below the others? I could see myself randomizing it and actually playing it again. And I think that's more because I know where everything is now, and I guess that would be the same for the Ocarina of Time, but even then, would I play it again without a randomizer? I don't know. Big skeleton boy's gonna run and throw bone servants. B tier minimum. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna say that. I genuinely did enjoy it, and it was the first Zelda that had serious heart to it, I feel. Like, it had a lot of story elements that I really enjoyed. But it might actually go in A. Like, that might be the way I have to put it. Bottom of S or top of A tier? I think top of A tier. Because it's hard to say that I'd really be able to ignore the fact that I had to open up a walkthrough multiple times in order to truly get everything. Constantly ask, hey, how do I get this mask? How do I talk to these people? Like, there was an entire... The Great Bay Temple, for one, is like a great explanation of why... of like a moment where I had absolutely nothing but misery in my soul. And then the next stream after that, it was all about Cafe's quest. And the constant problems I kept running into with that, being that if you stop the bomb lady from getting mugged, then Cafe doesn't... then the robber doesn't show up, and Cafe doesn't go to the final part of his quest. Herp-a-derp. Why? Why would you ever think that would happen? Ooh, I don't know. Ocarina of Time 3D box art is there. Yeah, no, like all of the Zelda games, including remakes, are all here too. I think the original Twilight Princess and the upgraded version are here. The Picross Legend of Zelda one is here. I've actually played that before on the DS. It's just a Picross game. But yeah. So the next Zelda game is going to be either Seasons or, where is it? I saw it before. Ages. It's one of these two. And I think it does that whole stupid thing with the whole Pokemon thing or Fire Emblem Fates thing where like they sell 2 games, but they're the same game just with slightly different things, and if you had both games you get a special little something. S-tier, you're a fake Zelda gamer. I haven't played all Zelda games, so no, I'm not a Zelda gamer. But yeah, that is the tier list up to this point, and I've put my thoughts together, I think, nicely. I'm probably gonna start moving things around as we go further into the games. We've so far beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 games. We haven't beaten that one, but nobody cares. So I might do it every 8 games that we've completed, just to see where we are. Especially since the further we go on, the longer the games are gonna be, I feel. Yeah, we got quite a few games of quite longness to them. But yeah, okay, so this was where Zelda... My brain is with Zelda right now. What games I had fun with, what games I didn't, and I'm wondering where this is gonna end up. Alright then. Thank you for watching, thanks for tuning in. This is the Zelda tier list first part, and we'll see where this goes later on. Farewell.